Marvelous hello, friends and loved ones, how was your year? It's the first episode of the new year. I'm in my new apartment, we've got the new film setup, We've done this before, haven't we? Well, 2017 was a fantastic year for video games, so as always, here are my top 10 personal favorite games of 2017. And as for my number one, let's just say, you'll never see it coming. Let's get started. I'm starting off this list with a game I've only owned for a few weeks, Nier Automata. See, I didn't get my PS4 until pretty late in the year, and I didn't get it set up until even later than that. So while this game could have potentially been higher on this list, I simply haven't played enough to make a more accurate judgment. But what I have played, I've loved. The beautiful, desolate landscape, the way the story is already unfolding, the feel of these characters. I have been having a great time with Nier Automata, and while I didn't get it until near the very end of 2017, it's a game I'm sure I'll be enjoying well into 2018.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
One part Saints Row, one part Saturday morning action cartoon show, Agents of Mayhem has been a blast. Like I mentioned with Nier, I'm putting this one towards the top of the list for the same reason I said there. But every now and then I just crave a good old-fashioned, super-powered action game with lots of shooting and explosions and a touch of witty dialogue added for good measure. What other game lets you play as a reality TV star and take down a supervillain's golem with grenades? In the tutorial! Go ahead, I'll wait. Actually, no, I won't. We really do need to move on.
Hell yeah! Franchise Force is back in action!
Franchise what now?
Franchise Force. I gave us a nickname.
You can't just give yourself a nickname.
The game that's very existence probably surprised me the most on this list was a little free-to-download tie-in game called Synchronicity Prologue. This mini Metroidvania game starring the Jack Bros was an absolute joy to play. The game was gorgeous. Seeing all the various Megaton demons popping up as unique enemies was fantastic. And thanks to Brento Bento providing a translation patch, players can even enjoy the game's story in English text. The game was only a couple hours long, but I had a great time completing this game 100%, and would honestly love for Atlus to make a full-fledged game with this type of graphics and gameplay down the road. Unfortunately, by the time you're watching this, the official download link for this game has been taken down, but you know what they say, once something is on the internet. Of course this game was going to wind up on the list. I liked it enough to do an entire mini-sode on it, didn't I? Egglia Legend of the Red Cap may not be the most amazing game in the world. It can be a little repetitive and grind-heavy in places, but every time I boot it up on my phone, I'm suddenly reminded of what I loved about it. The spiritual successor to Legend of Mana gives me so many of the things I enjoyed from that game, from the art style, to the music, to the characters, to the story. I may not be booting up Egglia as often as I used to, but every time I do, I feel a warm sense of familiarity in my chest, and I can't really ask for much more there. Have you ever played Sonic the Hedgehog and wondered what it would be like to try and hit a small target speeding around while your giant robot tries to smash them? Well, Nefarious certainly delivers on that idea. I kickstarted this game a while back, and it came out early on in the year. The basis of the game was to be a fully animated adventure of a supervillain traveling around and kidnapping different princesses, and Yeah, that is what the game has to offer. With a gorgeous animation style by Josh Hano, a rich and engaging world with likable characters, and a unique fighting style of Crow having to utilize bombs and his giant fist to get around, Nefarious is a game that deserves to be talked about. There's even a comic book series going on right now, and I've got my fingers crossed for a sequel down the road.
Faculty thinks I've gone loopy, like some kind of spongy Mobius strip. That's why I'm here, isn't it, Dr. Decker?
How can I even begin to describe the infectious madness of Dr. Decker? I can't. It's impossible. There is no explaining this game. But to try and give you a rough idea, this is a live-action FMV game where you play as a psychiatrist who is attempting to solve the murder of Dr. Decker, by interrogating while also counseling his former patients, each of whom have their own quirks. From a gorgeous redhead who keeps waking up naked on the beach, to a gravedigger who seems to be living in the world of Persona 3,
I'm free to wander around and do as I please. An hour later, normal reality continues. It's my very own midnight hour.
you have to help the patients while solving the crime by actually typing questions to them to get reactions that lead to more questions to be asked. But the more info you get, the deeper into madness you fall. It's a fascinating game that blends murder mystery with Lovecraftian psychological horror, and I absolutely loved it. And with multiple endings and the killer even changing, there are so many different experiences to experience.
Nope. Don't know.
I've always had a soft spot for visual novel games, particularly dating sims. I've done a video on Asagao Academy, I've even live streamed a few of them over at twitch.tv/Strain42. Well, one of the first games I did live stream was Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. A game where you play a dad who moves to a neighborhood full of dads and tries to date the dad of your dad dreams. And there's a dad for everyone. Fitness dad Craig, whom you have history with, teacher dad Hugo, whom you share cheese with, and even bad dad Robert with a dark past. This dad dating sim is just oozing with charm and fantastic writing, and was one of my favorites this year. Dad. Guys, no joke, I don't know if it's because I'm drinking, but pizza actually sounds really good right now.
Huh?
Wait, no! Hi, hungry!
Whoa.
No! I'm dead! Back in high school, I was absolutely addicted to a web browser game called Kingdom of Loathing. In fact, I wonder if my account is still active. Holy shit, it is! Cool! Anyway, this was a fantasy-based comedy RPG loaded with puns, pop culture references, and hilarious dialogue. Well, this year, we got West of Loathing. A Western-based comedy RPG loaded with puns, pop culture references, and hilarious dialogue. Unlike Kingdom, though, which was played mostly through clicking, this game actually has your character exploring, stupid walking optional, the Old West, picking up a partner and engaging in more traditional turn-based RPG battles. I can think of few games that have made me laugh this hard, and it really gave me something fresh while expanding on something I loved so much. If you're a fan of RPGs, give West of Loathing a try. Battle Chef Brigade. Holy crap, this game. This game. I've been closely following and anticipating this game for a long time now, and now that it's finally here, wow. I don't even know where to begin. 1 cup Monster Hunter, 3 tablespoons of Iron Chef, and some dashes of frantic puzzle-based gameplay mixed in and baked for 30 minutes at 350 degrees gives us an absolutely stellar recipe of a game. The in-game world, the characters, the dialogue, the gameplay, the absolute rush of adrenaline that comes from trying to put the finishing touches on your dishes and present them to the judges before time runs out can't even be described. Seriously, just go buy this game. Now, go buy it. Just get this game if you don't have it. Go, now. I mean, we'll finish the video, but after that, go. Buy this game.
Grace this kitchen with the best cooking you have to offer. Vive la Brigade!
"2016 was such a great year for video games that I had a hard time narrowing it down to a top 10. Well, I figured I'd carry on that tradition, so before I reveal my number 1, here are a couple of fast-paced, honorable mentions. The Caligula Effect, a Vita-exclusive RPG written by the man who brought us the original Persona trilogy. While the characters, art style, and premise of a looping high school escapism prison for people with horrible pasts, being run by essentially a berserk Hatsune Miku, is intriguing, the actual gameplay didn't do much to hold my interest. Ever Oasis, I debated between this one and Eglia, as both are in some way successors to the series of Mana, and while this is a really nice town-building, dungeon-crawling adventure, I found myself going back to Eglia more, which is why it got to be on the official list, but Ever Oasis is still a super enjoyable good time for the 3DS. I'm just going to refer to this entry as the Nintendo Mobile Selection. Between Fire Emblem Heroes, Magikarp Jump, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Nintendo has been one of my main sources of entertainment on my phone this year, and all for the price of absolutely free. Yooka-Laylee! I've discussed quite a few successors this year, but one that has to be mentioned is Yooka-Laylee. While the general opinion on this game seems to be a little divided, I think Playtonic gave us exactly what they promised us. I love these characters, this world, and of course, that Grant Kirkhope soundtrack fills me with so much joy. Pokemon Ultra Sun. I had Pokemon Sun on my list last year, and while Ultra Sun is still an enjoyable time, it's essentially just more of the same, and I couldn't in good conscience put it on the main list while Pokemon Sun got to be here last year. And finally, freaking duh. Really? What do you want me to say here? The truth is, I went into Persona 5 knowing I would love it, but the actual extent as to how much I loved it still managed to surprise me. Aside from a few nitpicks, I don't have many genuine complaints for this game. It has quickly become not just my favorite game of 2017, but without a doubt, one of my favorite games of all time. Look, I don't want to go frantic fanboy on you all when discussing this game, because I feel like that somehow undermines just how much this game really meant to me. I absolutely adored Persona 5 for everything it brought to the table, and I'm more than happy to call it my favorite game of 2017. And we can look forward to dancing next year, what? And so there you have it, my top 10 games of 2017. Now, as always, I'm not saying these were the best games of 2017, just my personal favorites. And hey, 2017 had a lot of amazing titles in it, which is why this is but part 1 of a trilogy of videos I'm going to be doing to kick off the new year. So come join me next week when I'll be discussing the top 10 games I missed out on in 2017. So for now, let me know what your favorite games of the year were down in the comments below. Have yourself a fantastic new year, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.